Is that making some sense? Yes, you have a question?
So you don't come back into the physical world again? Because I mean, it's a belief, some people believe.
Sure. Oh, you
you
absolutely
come
do
back and
reincarnate.
you kind of finish up what you didn't do or something.
Well, nothing's saying that you will complete it by the time you work to that mental plane, right?
Okay.
You won't complete it. You'll get as much as you can. And in fact, in the heavenly state, you'll spend some time doing what I just mentioned, trying to handle the inspiration and that deeper meaning from a broad scope. But there will come a point in time where you say, like you're alluding to, okay, I'm done. There's nowhere else I can go with this. You know I learned it down there and I'm up here in heaven and this is as far as I can go. You check it then into these little lockers that we're going to call the Akashic plane. It's between astral and heaven. You put it into like a little locker there, excuse me, and because it now has a negative component to it, right? It's unresolved. There's nothing perfect about that yet. So you put that aside and you just hang on to what you did get out of all of that life here and in the astral. You just take now just the stuff that actually meant something that was positive and that applied to you. So this is why we have 7 heavens. There are many gradients to heaven. Okay, you'll reach this state beyond the middle point where you now have to focus on you. Now, this seems like a simple task that you could do in a day or a couple hours from our perspective down here, but that's not true. When you're up in heaven, you could spend 200 years just working through that experience of love that you had for someone down in the physical, or love for your parents or children. I'm giving you a very good example. Okay, there's certainly other things. But what did that mean to you? How did that change you? How is that going to shape your future existence in this world? What is the divine lesson there? How is this going to serve mankind? You have to look at every one of those choice little lessons as a diamond, and you have to spend your time in heaven going through facet after facet after facet, and it can take a great deal of time. Technically, we spend longer time in heaven than in any of the preceding realms. Much longer than here, of course. Unless we didn't have any good or any love or any great things to reflect upon. So the objective, of course, is to try and spend more time in heaven, not reincarnate right away. Have so much that we accomplished here. You know, and it isn't just the love that we gave. If someone sent you love in life, someone cared about you so much, like your children or a husband, a relationship, you get to reflect on that. And what did that mean? How is that changing me? What am I learning from that? Why do I want to take that? What do I want to bring from that back into my next lifetime? Okay? And suddenly it'll have some purpose there. But you actually have to work through those and enjoy those also. They add to you. And there eventually does come a point in time where there really isn't anything to resolve in the heavenly state. And that's when we decide to now come back and reincarnate. And it isn't so much a decision like some may say. If we cease to have our purpose in heaven, then we will start descending, basically. And the first thing you do is you have to stop by the locker and pull up all that stuff that you checked out, okay? And you go through it and say, well, okay, I have a pretty good idea what I need to do in the next lifetime. I'm going to take this with me, I'm going to take that with me. And this is why when you're born, you have all these proclivities. You're drawn to be an artist. You have a natural genius. Those geniuses that we know, it could be in art, it could be in science, it could be in music. It's because they've learned that in heaven, and to appreciate that, they know the value of it, and they've learned it lifetime after lifetime. So they bring that back, and now it's a natural gift for them. And they can quickly get up to speed on that gift and turn it into something productive to help them get through the new purpose in this lifetime. But isn't it odd? Haven't you noticed? People just seem to be so lucky. They have wealth, or they have happiness, or they can manifest anything. They have wonderful children and families. They're great artists. They're great teachers. Okay, they earned that. They earned that. If we don't like our life and what we've accomplished, if things aren't working, well, there's something we still need to do. And so that's what life's about. We have to achieve anything that we see and more, because we will achieve even more than anything you've seen around you, because that's the greater purpose of mankind. We will eventually have no distinction. We will all be one at some point in time. We won't even have to say that one was better or less than the other. But I wanted to show you, first of all, in this lecture, that our stay in the heavenly realm is so tied to the experiences that we've had down here on the physical. So how we treat people, how they love us or dislike us, what good we've done or the bad we've done, all of those things somehow get acted upon in the other realms. Now let's talk about some other facets of the heavenly realm. let's talk about some of the things that we see there, what it looks like. Because when you develop beyond the psychic, and you're indicated back here in the green that you're already working on your psychic abilities, you're hearing things, you're seeing things, right? Movement. Okay. When we start connecting with the heavenly realm, it's going to be different. For example, when you notice the people, you're going to see them like gliding along. Even up at angles, they can go up and down like this, down at angles, because we start losing the feet, so to speak. So physically we see a distinction in the way we look. We have a body there that we actually call the mental body, that works in the mental plane. We have a body there, and it looks light blue, lavender, just as the energy is that we've expressed when we started the lecture. Now, if we were teaching people to see their bodies, and you have more than this physical one, you can look in the mirror and there's some techniques you can use to bring out these bodies that we use in these other realms. You will see that everybody on their left side has this body that looks light blue and lavender. It's the body you're going to use in heaven. But it sort of stops a little bit below the waist because we don't have the feet function anymore. It's not such a physical realm. And also you notice that they can move up and down, different angles, right? And they all tend to be sort of draped. So they look a little bit angelic-like, although they're not. But I thought you were going to ask a question a little bit differently when you were asking about those realms. When we were talking about correspondences, there's also sound differences in the different realms. So the experiences of these divine realms, and most religions will speak of the divine pretty much stopping around the heavenly realm. But there are many higher realms than just heaven. But you hear differently. And it sounds like this chorus of angels only because your experience to angels better resonates with those sounds. But you will have an audible experience of heaven as well. And it will sound like beautiful music. You couldn't replicate it because there's no way to replicate that here in the physical. But your perception of it is that it was beautiful music. Interesting. When we speak of this, the Word of God, like in the Bible and all these, the Torah and all these great books, that's a mistranslation. Initially that was the sound of God, because they were trying to connect with the heavenly realm, and we have the sound component that I'm mentioning. And there is a genius in the construction of the universe and all of its planes. You notice the number 7 shows up all the time. 7 is a genius in the scale of music currently in our music system, right? And when you put certain things together, we say, my gosh, that is an actual genius in music. That is perfect. Well, the divine creation of the universe was that way too. And so you will hear sounds that just seem flawlessly perfect. And you will know it without even being able to replicate it. But there is a grand divine design to things. But there are realms higher than heaven. 4. So mankind has just started the journey here on the physical. If you're here, and if you're listening and watching to this, you're obviously here. So you're still learning. But you should remember some of the things I'm saying. It should start ringing true, that something's going on once you leave this life. And we came here with a purpose, and we decided that purpose. We had those moments of reflection. We worked through all the issues of the past. We're deciding, okay, I'm going to go through my Akashic record locker, and I'm going to take this back. I'm going to take the geniuses that I've learned. Those are my talents, my skills, my proclivities, okay? And I'm going to make them work for me, and it helps me get further and further ahead. And it changes us from that animalistic state to the civilized beings that we are now. And guess what? We're going to become more artistic, more expressive. When we come back, we're going to talk about what it looks like in heaven.